In episode 8, Jason B is unaware that there are now two Jasons running around that Chicago, but he finds out real quick. As he's going to take the trash out, he is attacked by a Jason. This one holding a knife, but this one doesn't survive. Jason B is able to fight him off and kill him. And now he's got to put the body somewhere, so he decides his garage would be the best place. And as he's wrapping up the body, he's almost caught by Charlie. Things are starting to unravel for Jason B. And another example of this is while he was trying to dispose of a body, Daniela was at Ryan's apartment. She got a call from Ryan's girlfriend that he wasn't doing well. She headed over there, and Ryan just started talking about how he doesn't know her. He's a mechanic. Daniela, thinking that something's wrong with him, sits him down and says, "Okay, what's the last thing you remember?" And he says that he was in a bar and some guy just kept buying him shots. He'd never seen him before. And when Daniela shows Ryan a picture of Jason, immediately Ryan goes, "Yeah, no, that's him." Because in Mechanic Ryan's world, he never met Jason. Now, Daniela has no idea what's going on, but she knows something's up. She gives Ryan's girlfriend a location of a mental hospital that she can check him into because he does sound a bit nuts, and then she heads home. As for her actual husband, well, Jason A got his weapons. He headed to a hotel, but as he was leaving and trying to formulate a plan, he was met in the hallway by himself. He knew it wasn't Jason B because the guy ran off, but Jason A was a little surprised, and when he went to go chase after the guy, he couldn't initially find him. He did, however, notice shortly after leaving the hotel that he was being tailed by this Jason. We'll just call him Jason C, F. I don't know. Pick a letter in the alphabet, folks. I'm not doing everything for you. It's another Jason. He's following him. Jason A is able to dip into the bar that he always goes to and lose him. But as he's buying a drink from the bartender that he knows really well, he looks over in the corner, and there's another Jason. This one seems important, so I'll just actually give him a name. He'll be Jason C. And Jason A and Jason C sit down, and they have a chat over a beer. They are the same person. They were both kidnapped. The Daniela and Charlie in that world are their Daniela and Charlie. Jason C made it back a day ago. Jason A made it back a few hours ago. They both watched Daniela die right in front of them. They both were taken back to Velocity and beaten up. The big difference is that Jason C's Amanda got lost in a really bad world, dangerous world. And obviously we know what happened with Jason A's Amanda. What they figure out together is that different versions of themselves must have spawned off in the box. Now, some of them ran out of the serum, they died, they got lost in worlds, but others actually made it back just like they did. So they have no idea how many Jasons are running around that Chicago, but, well, they know it's at least 4. Jason C brings up his plan on what he's going to do with Jason B. He's planning on dumping him in a grave that he dug that day near the river. Jason A points out how he tried to buy a gun, but he was unsuccessful. And that's when Jason C says, "Yeah, well, you don't have a gun. I do." Jason C, though, gets deep. He tells Jason A, the big issue is we all think we're the original guy. And that means we all think that Daniela and Charlie are ours. So I'm telling you now, if I see Jason B, I'm taking him down, but I'm taking down anybody that gets in my way of being with Daniela and Charlie. He then buys Jason A the drink, and he heads off. That means that Jason A is going to have to formulate some kind of plan. The next morning when Daniela gets up, she asks Jason B if he can take Charlie to school, and she's got some things to move for the art gallery. In reality, she just wants to go to the storage unit and see what's in it. They get into a little bit of an argument because Jason B is adamant that she don't take the car that he dumped the body in. Obviously, he didn't reveal that there's a body in it. That's why he doesn't want her to take it. But it's just another red flag to Daniela that something is off. As Jason B drives Charlie to school later that day, Charlie says, "Wait, where are you going? You were supposed to show me the University of Chicago," which is Jason B's alma mater. And Jason B, having no idea about this, just decides to pivot and say, "Okay, yeah, no, we'll take a tour." As they're taking the tour, though, and Jason B is doing a trip down memory lane of how he met Daniela, he sees in the distance that another Jason is following him. So he decides to speed this tour up a bit. As he and Charlie are weaving in and out of buildings, trying to lose this other Jason, Charlie very confused on what's going on, Daniela has made it to the storage unit, and she finds all the cell phones. She also finds a bunch of U.S. currency that doesn't look like any currency she's ever seen before. I mean, hell, one has JFK on the $20 bill. But the most interesting thing she finds is a mechanic's jacket with Ryan's name on it. As she's looking at all of this, she gets a phone call from the police. They tell her that Jason's been arrested for smoking in a restaurant. That was Jason A's master plan. That's how he decided he was going to get Daniela one-on-one. And initially when she bails him out, she is pissed off. But he explains, look, anything that's happened in the last couple of weeks, that is not me. That is somebody else. And I know this sounds crazy. The last time I saw you is when I went to go talk to Ryan about his award. That guy is using my box that I developed. He's traveling through different worlds. He kidnapped me. And just like any sane person, Daniela does not believe it, but he says, I'll prove it to you. Just do me one favor. Call me right now. When Daniela does that, she is shocked because even though her husband is standing in front of her, somebody answers her husband's cell phone, and it's not the guy in front of her. She's so freaked out, she immediately hangs up, and Jason A says, no, call him back and tell him that you want to go back to that place in the Florida Keys that we vacationed at last Christmas. Me and you know that we didn't actually do that, but he doesn't. Just see what he says. So Daniela does that, and Jason B, answering the phone, says, oh, yeah, no, I remember that trip. No, that sounds great. And that's when Daniela finally believes that Jason A is telling the truth. Jason A tells her to grab Charlie and meet him at Millennium Park next to that huge bean statue, the Cloud Gate. She'll know it's him if he says the word Jupiter. So she heads home. Although Jason and Charlie, they're not home yet because they're still at Chicago University and they're still trying to avoid this random new Jason. It gets so bad that Jason B turns to Charlie and says, grab the car and meet me at this location. Don't ask any questions. I'll explain later. Because Jason B knows that he can't let Charlie see that there's another one of him running around. So Jason B is able to lure this guy into a desolate part of the university. He tackles him in a bathroom and he chokes him out. And it's unclear if he's dead or not, but he just positions him in the stall and locks it, and then he heads home. Jason B is starting to realize that he can't stay in Chicago anymore. He's got to do something. So when he heads home, he tells Daniela, pack a bag, we got to get out of here. And Daniela, knowing full well that that is not her husband, is clearly showing signs of doubt. She's trying to play it off like she's going to go along with this, grab a bag, ask no questions. But all the while, what she's actually doing is trying to get in touch with Charlie to let him know that they're in danger, they got to get out of there. She's finally able to make her grand escape when she tells Jason B that she has to head down to the basement to grab a bag, she needs his help, and then she pushes him down the stairs, locks the door, gets in the car, and her and Charlie start to head off. But they're cut off by Jason. And Daniela, thinking that it's Jason A, tells Charlie, get in the car, but it's not Jason A. He starts giving the same spiel to Daniela that Jason A gave her in the police precinct. That's when Daniela knows, oh, this ain't our guy. But as this random Jason is trying to explain everything that Daniela already knows at this point, he gets into an accident. The car gets T-boned, and the car gets T-boned by yet another Jason. A little shell-shocked, Daniela sticks to the plan. She runs with Charlie to Millennium Park, and she sees Jason A. He gives her the code word, which is Jupiter, and Jason A gives Charlie a giant hug because they're back to being reunited. Thank you so much for checking out this recap. Please consider subscribing to the channel and subscribing to my Patreon. Hit thumbs up if you liked it. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought it sucked. If you left a comment, I don't get back to you. I usually don't check the comments unless they're like a super comment. Also, if you don't see the next video up on the end screen, not to worry, it'll be up in a day or two.